So, what is up, everybody? It's Joe here, budgetboss.ca. It is Friday, April 17th. After a day break yesterday, I am back with the COVID campaign for financial awareness. This is day 19, and today I'm going to be talking about critical illness. Critical illness is a vital part of any financial plan, making sure that we're taking care of our paycheck while we're moving forward with our financial plan. And what I want people to sort of understand is the cost that critical illness can put on you at a time when you least expect it. So, the number one factor that stops people from getting to their retirement goals is health concerns. And oftentimes it's because we don't have the proper coverage in place to make sure that we're covering off a critical illness or a disability or an injury. So I want to talk a little bit today about critical illness specifically. And over the course of the next week or so, I'm going to get into disability insurance and talk to people about that as well. First things first, though, let's jump into a market update as I do every day. And what we are looking at today is positivity. Announced yesterday, President Trump in America announced that they're starting to implement reopen plans or flirt with the idea of reopening plans, and they're aiming for a mid-May reopen for the country. Staged reopens. The plan that I saw yesterday was a three-stage plan where periodically people are getting introduced back into the economy, into outdoors, leaving their homes. And that three-stage plan allows people to go back to work, and in certain situations with distancing still in place, the most vulnerable will still stay home. But over time, as certain protocols are met, everyone will be reintroduced into the economy, into the public atmosphere, and that is a good thing. So, what that means is that they're starting to see that the curve of the virus is slowing down, and they want that to continue. But what they can do now is start to implement plans that will actually get people back into the economy, and that is optimism for the markets. So if you look at the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX, we're up about 1 to 2%, and the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ as well. So we see positivity abound in the markets right now. If we shift to Europe, the European markets all closed between 1 and 3% up on the day. And I think as well that is because they saw that the curve in countries such as Spain, France, Germany, and Italy has curved down or stayed at the same level for a little while now, be it a week or so. So we're starting to see cases go down, and that is the factor that is most important in this situation. If we could see cases go down, cases of coronavirus, and hospitalizations go down, that means that the death rate will go down as well. They're obviously on a 2-week lag. People get diagnosed with coronavirus, their symptoms get worse, and then eventually they either get better or don't get better and pass on, sadly. So what we're seeing is that if the cases go down, the deaths will in turn go down. But that does not mean the death rate will go down right now, because these are the people that got sick or diagnosed 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatnot. So hopefully the case count goes down continually, and then what will happen is the death rate will go down, and then we can start reintroducing people into the economy, back into the public sphere, which I would love to do. So let's continue to do what we're doing: social isolate, distance, physically isolate, shelter in place, whatever you want to call it. Just stay the hell home unless you have to go out, and or if you're an essential worker. So thank you to them for actually doing their job every day and putting themselves at risk so the rest of us can actually live our lives in relative health. That is the markets. We are seeing positivity. The last 3 Fridays, we've actually seen a sell-off. Today, it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case, although we do have about 5 hours left in trading today. So let's see how that goes. And tomorrow, I'll do a recap on the week for the markets. So I'm going to jump right into critical illness and cancer specifically. First things first, download the combo expenses worksheet. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people keep downloading this. I'm very thankful for that. It shows that people are trying to get their budget in order. during this time, which is what we should be doing, especially if our expenses are at a bare minimum. We could see what it's like to live without certain things. So at this point, getting your budget down to a bare minimum and understanding that is very, very important. Can't go out to restaurants, can't go out to bars, can't go out on outings or go to entertainment, go to a festival, can't do much of anything. All we got is Netflix and Amazon, and I hope people are actually chilling on the Amazon part. But use this time right now to organize the budget, get it in place. I'm going to be introducing a couple more worksheets next week to help people out, so do that, okay? So first things first as well, or second things second, go for the CERB if you qualify for it. This is Canada government's version of EI during this period, employment insurance. It's a topped up $2,000 a month emergency benefit for 4 months. Remember, this is a taxable benefit, so you will have to pay taxes. So if you can, withhold some money for next year so that you have yourself prepared for tax time next year. But today, Friday, is a free-for-all. Anyone can apply, as well as on the weekends. So apply for the CERB, get the benefits you need to make sure you keep your financial house in order during this time. So I'm going to jump right into the Canadian Cancer Statistics Society, or Canadian Cancer Society statistics on cancer. Now, I'm in the insurance industry. And one thing I've realized is as I hand out death claims and as I handle people's life insurance, the majority of the time I'm actually handling a death claim and paying out life insurance for someone or delivering the check for them. It's because of cancer. Cancer affects almost everyone. If you never get it, you know someone that will. We all know someone that's been touched by it. It's in every family. It's in every household, or we all have an effect on us from someone we know, someone close by, someone we love. Cancer is the number one cause of death in Canada. 1 in 2 people in Canada will develop cancer in their lifetime. So 1 in 2 people, 50% of us. That is a lot. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it at a young age, but you will get it sometime in your lifetime, 50% of people. And that is a scary statistic. 220,000 people plus will develop or be diagnosed with cancer in 2019. So this study is from 2018. So last year, 220,000 people diagnosed. The 5-year cancer survival rate is about 63%, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. 63% of people who get diagnosed with cancer survive past 5 years, and that's an amazing thing. This used to be a death sentence not long ago, and now people are surviving it, which is awesome. 82,000 people, however, will die from cancer in 2019. And 1 in 4 Canadians are actually going to die from cancer in their lifetime. So 25% of us, cancer will be the cause of death. And that is a lot of people. So 1 in 4 of us, that's going to be the cause of our death. So I want to focus on the 5-year cancer survival rate. What's changed with cancer is the fact that people are actually surviving cancer. Now, like I said, it used to be a death sentence not long ago where you got diagnosed with cancer, you had X amount of time to live, and that was about it. Now, with treatment and medical advances, we're actually surviving cancer, which is a great thing, but also it's got the unforeseen issue of the financial impact of cancer. Now, what I want to discuss today is actually how we can mitigate that impact, the financial impact of getting cancer or a critical illness. See, the problem is with it is that before, when people weren't surviving cancer, life insurance was the most important factor. Make sure you have life insurance because in case you get sick or die, you're going to have it pay out. Now, life insurance is still very important, but maybe it's not cancer that's killing us all right away. What it is that we're having a financial impact from the cancer because we are, in fact, surviving it, which is a good thing, but the financial impact is definitely not a good thing. So what I want to talk about today is the actual cost of cancer itself. So I wrote a post in 2018, April of 2018, and this was on World Cancer Day, I believe. And one thing that I noticed is that the unforeseen financial impact of cancer is huge. First things first, the emotional cost of cancer, because when you get a critical illness or cancer, the emotional cost is massive. You feel an uncertainty, stress starts to build up. This in itself can exacerbate the situation. The people that often beat cancer beat it because they have a positive attitude about it. They go into it with a fighting spirit. Oftentimes, the people that don't beat it are downtrodden and actually cannot escape the emotional impact of cancer. Also, another thing with it is the family impact on it. So the people around you knowing you have cancer. That is an emotional impact of it. So that's the biggest first cost that obviously comes up. The financial cost is catastrophic. The one thing about our country is that we have universal health care, but we don't have universal pharmacare. And this is something that has directly impacted me, not having universal pharmacare. Although cancer drugs are covered, certain ones are not. So prescription drugs, we in our country actually can cost a fortune to actually pay for cancer drugs. We shouldn't have to choose between that. Horror stories of drugs costing about $8,000 a month have emerged, and these are drugs that aren't covered by our provincial system. This is actually terrifying for people that actually have to come up with this cost. So this is one of the costs. Alternative treatments. So if there's a treatment that you want to seek that can help you look after your cancer, but it's not necessarily part of our healthcare system, would you not choose to get that? So for instance, if you were told that it costs you $50,000 to travel to the States to actually get an alternative treatment in, say, Boston, and this doctor has performed this treatment and has actually been successful with treating your form of cancer with this treatment, would you not want to do that? Now, coming up with that cost is a huge, huge thing. So seeking out alternative treatments is a huge cost. Transportation and parking, and I don't understand this, but why do we have to pay for parking at hospitals? It makes no sense to me. It's super, super expensive. $10, $15 a day to actually park at a hospital. So why do we have to actually pay to see our dying relatives? This is a huge cost. I don't get it. So in our system here in London, Ontario, there's lots of hospitals, and all of them have expensive parking situated around them. That is terrible. So if you have to go see your loved one on a daily basis and it costs you $20, that's $600 a month. That's huge. Missed work. This is a massive one. Loss of income. So oftentimes you'll see people going into work and they have the bandana on or wearing the hat because they're covering up the fact that they're doing chemotherapy. That to me is sad. It's a terrifying thing when someone has to choose between missing work and taking care of themselves and getting better. So missed work is a huge one. We obviously need to pay our bills, and that does not stop if you have cancer. So making sure that you're covering off your missed income during your treatment is huge. And one thing I've noticed is that if you are able to work, oftentimes your workplace disability coverage will not cover you because you are able to work. Now, there are times in cancer where you're going through chemo and you're going through remission afterwards, and you can work, but do you necessarily want to be work while you're trying to build up your health after bouts with chemotherapy? So if your workplace coverage makes you states that you can work, they will not pay you your missed income, and that stinks. So what do we do? The biggest thing with it is I think people should understand what critical illness insurance is. And I sell critical illness insurance, and I think critical illness is a vital part of any critical illness insurance is a vital part of any financial plan. I think everyone should have it. And the reason being is because you're more likely to claim on critical illness insurance than you are on life insurance. 1 in 2 people will develop cancer in their lifetime. Not everyone is going to die prematurely. The average life expectancy is 81 for men and 84 for women in Canada. That's a long time, but cancer could hit you once, even maybe twice during your lifetime and cause financial impacts. Critical illness insurance covers a multitude of illnesses, but the major 3 are cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Other ones include blindness, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, organ transplants, kidney failure, loss of sight, loss of limbs, multitude of illnesses that critical illness insurance can cover, and it can help you mitigate the financial cost. Critical illness insurance is like life insurance in a sense where you have to go through an underwriting process. Critical illness insurance pays out a lump sum should you get diagnosed with a critical illness. So a critical illness, cancer, heart attack, stroke, you get diagnosed, your benefit is $50,000, for instance. It would pay out that $50,000 benefit within 30 days. So that can help you mitigate the cost of going through treatment, taking care of yourself during that period, topping up your disability insurance through work. So disability insurance only pays you roughly 66%, but at a maximum of 80% of your income. Most of us cannot survive on 66% of our income or 80% of our income, so the critical illness will top up our income during that period of time so we can continue on with our financial plan, including savings plans during that period of time, and that's an important thing to do, in my opinion. Critical illness pays out that lump sum if you are diagnosed. If you have pre-existing conditions, it does not cover you. So someone like myself, I cannot get coverage for critical illness because I have ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis means I have a heightened risk of getting colon cancer, which therefore they will not cover me in that situation. So if you can qualify for it, you should get it, in my opinion. And it's often dirt cheap. You can get term life or term critical illness insurance, 10-year term insurance for roughly $20 to $30 a month, and it will cover you. And this could be for, say, a $50,000 or $100,000 benefit. Again, like life insurance, it covers you. I'm sorry. Again, like life insurance, it covers you for the underwriting process. So if you go through the underwriting process, you are covered. If you cannot qualify for it, there are other forms of insurance that we can look towards to actually getting you that coverage that'll make sure you're covered in case of a critical illness itself. Again, the big three: cancer, heart attack, and stroke. So this page itself, I'm going to include this in the link. It talks about critical illness insurance itself. If you are diagnosed with a critical illness, all you need is your doctor's note and you make your claim, and your coverage will kick in and they will pay it off. There's often riders associated with it where you can, if you don't get diagnosed with a critical illness, now a rider is an attachment or a benefit feature that you can add onto your policy. So if you don't use your coverage and you never make a claim, you can get your money back, and that is pretty cool. I wish car insurance or even life insurance was like that, where if you didn't make a claim, you get your money back or your beneficiary gets the money back. That is pretty cool. There's also other features where you can add on bonus coverage for a multitude of more illnesses, so it covers you on extra illnesses. And these riders themselves are not that expensive. You add it on for maybe a couple more bucks. The return of premium one's a little bit more expensive, but you got to weigh the cost value of it. So do I want to get my money back, or do I not care about that? That's the big thing about it. In my post, How to Retire Relevantly, Step 4, Insurance, I talk about income replacement coverage, disability, and critical illness insurance. Critical illness is actually an important part of it because it gives you that immediate lump sum benefit where you can continue on with your financial plan and actually take a time off work. The rule of thumb is usually 1 to 2 years annual income. So if you make $50,000, $50,000 worth of critical illness insurance would be the amount that you would look for, or 100. So 1 to 2 years income as a rule of thumb. Reason being, you could cover off 1 or 2 years of income to get better during that period of time and continue on with your financial plan. Like it mentioned, 63% of people are actually living through critical illnesses within the first or living through cancer within the first 5 years, so they make it through in 5 years. So that is an important thing to make sure you're actually covering off that. Once again, I'll also mention that people who actually have health problems, that is the number one reason they can't get to retirement. And the big thing about it is that I want people to understand the first thing that they're going to pull from is their emergency savings. So emergency savings, I talk about emergency funds all the time, and emergency savings are huge. But what you don't want emergency savings for is something that insurance can cover. So insurance can't often cover needing a new roof, or your car breaking down, or your water heater going, or the kids need something like braces. Oftentimes, insurance cannot cover that. Why you buy insurance is because you have your emergency savings to cover the emergencies that insurance can't cover. And then you buy cheap insurance to cover the things that it can cover, such as getting sick or hurt, losing a job, or death, obviously, with life insurance. And that's why you should get critical illness insurance. You don't want to pull from your investments because you get cancer. You don't want to deplete your emergency fund because you get cancer. You don't want to take from your home equity because you get cancer. That is the big thing about it, because your emergency fund protects your investments. Your insurance protects your emergency fund, which protects your investments. It all works like a circle, and you're making sure that you're covering off all these things. So I like people to get about 1 to 2 years annual income in critical illness insurance. Again, it's cheap. Typical people anywhere between the age of 20 and 40, the amount you get could range depending on how much you get, or the price of it could range. But I would say anywhere between $20 to $50 a month for critical illness insurance, and it's a vital part. If you add more features and benefits like the return of premium, it can get more expensive, but then you get more benefit out of it. So it's like getting the Cadillac version or the Toyota version. So you got to weigh the cost analysis with that. I've helped hundreds of people get insurance, and critical illness is one of the ones that I promote big time. I wish I was covered for it because I cannot be covered for it. So if you want to see if you can actually apply and get covered for critical illness insurance, I am more than happy to help you do that. So again, make sure that you're protecting your income, you're protecting your emergency fund, and you're looking towards making sure that your financial plan will continue because of health reasons. And like I said, the majority of people who don't reach their retirement goals is because of a health problem that existed. It can actually deplete your whole retirement savings. You can lose your home. And this is horror stories that people just don't want to deal with. So you'd rather put the risk onto the insurance company and onto yourself. So that is my post today about critical illness. I'm going to share these links with you. If you want to talk more about critical illness, please make sure you reach out to me. I know people are reaching out to me to get the worksheets, but you can also reach out to me on Facebook. Shoot me a DM on Facebook, more dynamic platform. I can share more links on there. Also, you can go on Instagram, and all the videos are on IGTV. They're also on YouTube as well. So all 19 videos as of today will be on YouTube, so you can check them out there. The whole catalog of the COVID campaign for financial awareness. And you can find me on Twitter as well, where I'll be sharing tips and tools on there as well. And once again, download the combo expenses worksheet. Important download. I'm sharing the link in all of it. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you can book a meeting with me or sign up for my email list at budgetboss.ca/contact. You can book a meeting itself or get on the email list. I'm more than happy to talk to people about their insurance and investment options and mortgage options at this period of time. Also, apply for the CERB if you qualify for it. If you have questions about that, shoot me a DM as well. But if you do qualify for it, you should go get it. The government's instituting new plans right now as well for people who make partial income during this period, so they can get a top up, say $1,000 or so. So as those plans come out, I will address them with you and share them with you. So I want to thank you for tuning in today. Talk about critical illness. Obviously not the most fun topic to talk about, but cancer is a huge thing. Heart attack, stroke, these things are affecting people on a regular basis, and I want to make sure that we're actually making it through with our financial plan, even if we get sick, because the biggest thing you should be focusing on is getting better. And especially at a time like this, we start to see how important health is to our everyday life. So have a great day. Take it easy.